Welcome back. This is episode number 65 at the BS Machine, our first one for the year in 2022. Wow, man. 2022. Fuck. That's crazy, isn't it? It's just life's just happening, isn't it? And things are moving, things are happening. But man, actually, you know what? First of all, I just want to apologize because at the end of last year, at the end of 2021, I basically just stopped doing. I just stopped doing the BS machine, the bullshit machine. I just stopped doing the podcast, and I just thought that's what people do. They just stop. But I had all these messages the following Monday come through going, Tommy, where's your new podcast? Where's the new episode? I'm like, oh, sorry, I didn't know. I'm not like a person that knows this stuff. So yeah, obviously you're meant to round out the year in your podcast, and I didn't really do that. I just stopped, and then now I'm starting again. But yeah, sometimes I forget that people actually listen to this thing, and so I've got to be a little bit more mindful about that. But you know what? Welcome back, guys. How cool! Like, we're in 2022, and if you're watching me on YouTube, welcome on YouTube. You can just see me rocking along and doing whatever I do while I'm talking. And if you're on Spotify, welcome from Spotify. If you are on the Apple Podcast app, welcome. And yeah, I'm to be honest, it's been a bit of a rocky start to the year for me. I was overseas, went to Ireland and went to Budapest, and had such an epic time over that 2.5, 3 weeks that I was away out of Melbourne. But fuck, man, I've got to tell you, the world is a fucking shit show at the moment. It is crazy what you have to do in order to get into countries. And I mean, once you're in, it's fine. You can just be normal. But actually getting in, you've got to get PCR tests and this test and that test. And every time you leave a certain country and go to a new one, you have to get the coronavirus testing and this and that. It's just fucking crazy, man. It is unbelievable. Well, I haven't travelled overseas for whatever 3-4 years since this shit show started, and it's really, it is. It's like, to be honest, I wouldn't actually advise travel, especially if you're going to multiple cities and multiple countries around the world. It's just too fucking hard, and you're constantly in fear when you get those PCR tests, whether you're going to test positive or negative or whatever. And funny enough, I got back to Melbourne just right at the start of Jan. I think we got back on the 6th or 7th of Jan, and got back in the country and got the fucking Rona straight away. So if my voice is still a bit nasally and whatever, that's why I'm totally fine. But I had a bit of a fever and whatnot, and a bit sniffly, but other than that, I was totally fine. And luckily, I actually felt it on the flight home, and I was just like, oh, I just know this is going to be the Rona. I fucking know it's going to be, because my fever was going up, and I'm just on that flight going, oh, please get me home. And then when we got home and I actually walked out of the airport, I was almost like the Pope, kneeling down, kissing the earth. I was very happy to be home. But other than that, Ireland, if you have never been there, is a beautiful, beautiful country. Budapest is my home, where I was born. And fuck, it was so emotional being back home and seeing family and friends from back home. So I actually had a really good time, other than this bullshit that's going on around the world. But today we're talking about, I wanted to bring in the year with a bit of a, not of a bit of a, but I wanted to bring in the year in terms of my true way, which is basically sharing with you guys what I'm experiencing at the moment, and getting some wins out of that in terms of talking through it. And I'm sure that you'll relate with me, because I know a lot of us are going through this at the moment, where the last couple of years has just been up and down, and we're getting into 2022 and we're like, all right, this is going to be an epic year and whatever. So look, I mean, this is what I'm experiencing at the moment, is that I'm putting all this pressure on myself at the moment to work out what I'm going to do and manifest and do all this cool stuff for the year and set it up and whatever. And I sort of realized, I sort of sat back and thought, you know what? I mean, it's all well and great to want to manifest all these epic things in life. And you know, you put all this pressure on yourself to go, okay, well, what am I going to do this year and how am I going to do it? And it becomes, it almost becomes a process that's not fun. And the way that I like to live life is and a lot of people hang shit on me for this, but I love to live life in a way where I feel free, I feel open, and I feel like life's fucking fun. You know, I never want life not to be fun. And I always just naturally and organically do things in life that bring a lot of joy and happiness to me. And I'm not saying that's me 24 hours a day, but every single day I'll definitely experience some form of joy and some form of happiness. And one of the things that I'm finding with myself is that what I'm worried about, what I'm concerned about is that a lot of the things that I know that I want to work on this year, and not well, actually, my bad, get rid of that word work on. That's not what that is. A number of things that I want to manifest and bring into my life this year, I feel come with a lot of challenges and a lot of problems. And I started thinking into it this morning just before I pushed record on this potty, and I sort of sat back and I thought, you know what, problems and challenges, they're really gifts, aren't they? Because what problems show you and what challenges show you is that you're pushing the envelope, you're sort of pushing the boundaries in life. And so if you're meeting quite a bit of resistance at the moment with even just with getting clear and clarity on what you want, it's such a fucking cool sign, because what that's showing you is that you're ready for some new shit. You're ready to bring in some really epic things into your life. And really what makes us alive, what makes us fucking buzz as human beings, is facing challenges. And that might sound weird for you because you're like, nah, do you know, I don't like that. Yeah, you fucking do. Because when you're facing a challenge, it means that you're growing, you're expanding. So if you have challenges in your life at the moment, even if it's as simple as getting shit down on paper that you want to actually manifest, and you know, you might be sitting back going, well, I just feel tired, I feel lack of energy. I feel all that shit too. And it feels weird because you're like, no, I don't want to have another year like I had last year, or I want something new, but I don't know what it is, and I don't know how to get it, and I don't know what to do to move forward. And so that's a really valid point for all of us, and it's a really valid state of being for all of us. But really the key is are you going to stay in that place, or will you actually come out of it and do something? And even like, look, to be honest, like even doing this podcast today, I'm like, like, you know, it's not that I don't want to do it. Of course I want to do it. Like I love this podcast. The podcast is one of the things that brings me so much clarity and joy, because I just blab on and I get clarity out of it myself. And so it's not that I didn't want to do it. A part of it was like, what's the fucking use? You know, what's it really leading to? And that is the key thing to realize, is that sometimes you don't need to know. Sometimes you don't need to know where it's leading. Obviously you want something and you want to create things in your life when you want to get clarity on what you actually want to manifest, on things that come from your heart and the things that make you happy. But you need to understand that every single emotion, even these emotions of feeling lack of energy, of can't be fucked and all that type of stuff, all these emotions, they have a purpose. And all of our emotions, their purpose is basically to give us messages. They're emotional messages. And you know what? if you're happy 24 hours a day and you feel on purpose 24 hours a day, man, like kudos to you, because I know that I myself and, you know, a lot of people around the world are really, you know, struggling just to fucking get going this year. You know, and so what we have to realize is that every emotion, not just now, but every emotion you've ever fucking had, it serves a purpose. And there are these emotional messages that we get of when we're feeling stuck or when we're feeling like we don't want to do shit. It's really, what really is, it's a call to action, isn't it? These emotional messages, it's like this call for you to do shit. It's this call for you to do something. And so emotions are really just actions that are waiting to happen. Let me explain. If you're feeling, well, let's just use that. If you're feeling stuck and you're feeling like you don't know where to go or what to do, or even journaling seems boring to you, or all the things that brought you aha moments last year now seem like it's just going to the tap and getting a glass of water, and they bore you and you feel like you need to expand but you don't know where to. That is a perfect example for you to get clear on that call to action. What, there's something in you, above you, around you, that's asking, that's calling you to do something, challenging you to do something. It's emotions are really actions waiting to happen. And so all of the emotions that you have, they're all this call to action, and every emotion is a message. There's a message in there. So basically, when you ask, what do I do then? And what I need to change, it's like you need to change your current action, what you're currently doing, or you need to change your current perception. So if your current perception of your life at the moment is that you're fucking bored and you don't know what to do and you don't know how to move forward, then you got to change the perception, man. Because if you don't, you're going to stay in this, you're going to end up staying in, and that scares me. Like, to be honest, one of the reasons I want to get clear on what I want to do this year, and I want to get really clear on what I'm going to do with my podcast, what I'm going to do with my coaching, what I'm going to do with all this other cool shit that I've got in the background. The reason I want to get clear, because it fucking scares me that if I get to this time next year and I'm having the same conversations with myself and I've got the same shit going on, that genuinely scares me. So I would much rather spend this year fucking up all year long and making the wrong decisions all year long than doing fucking nothing. Because I know that even if I'm not fully clear on what's going on, and I'm not fully clear on what I want yet this year, my intentions are very clear. I know exactly what my purpose in terms of my intentions are. But the actual action points, the actual things, the material things, you know, they're the bits that I'm a little bit unclear on at the moment. And I don't, it doesn't, you know, how can I say this? It's my God-given right to make mistakes. And that's exactly one of the first things I talked about, is these problems, mistakes, they're really all gifts. So wouldn't you rather spend this year fucking up all year long and moving forward? Because if you're fucking up and you're making mistakes, it means that you're getting way closer. It means you're courageous. It means you're moving forward. And there is not a chance that you're not going to get closer to your goal very, very quickly. So it's super important, I think, for all of us, is to really listen to these signals, these emotional messages that we're getting, and fucking act. Like, you have to fucking change something, whether it's your focus, your perception. And the question is, what's the message my emotion is trying to give me here? What's the message? If your emotion is feeling, you know, stuck and lethargic and you know, you're fucking frustrated, what's that message? And I would say the message is, you know exactly what the course of action would be moving forward, even if you're not sure where it's going to lead, but you know that there's a course of action you need to take it. Like, go for it. Don't be fucking sitting back worrying about whether you're going to make the right choice, the wrong choice. Don't sit in no man's land. No man's land is so fucking boring. and it's just not. It's not. Oh, what's a good way of saying it? It's like, see how many decisions you can get into and not how many decisions you can get out of. I'm the king of freaking out when it comes to making decisions. But this year, one of my things is going, you know what? I'm making decisions and I'm going into it. I'm going to see, how many decisions I can get into and not out of. That is a good starter for me. That is a really good starter because I know that will lead to some type of greatness, of some type of stuff happening that I want to happen. So, guys, it's a really big one, isn't it? Because there is so many things in the world right now where we could just sit back and go, oh, do you know what? I'll just wait until, I'll just wait until this pandemic finishes. I'll wait until my finances are better. I'll wait until I get this money payout from somewhere. I'll wait till I get a job. I'll wait till this. I'll wait till that. Fuck that, man. Like, this is now. It's like now. We've got to, let's go. Like, this is it. There is no tomorrow. There's no fucking waiting. It's like now. And if you're shit scared about, moving forward because you're fearing you're going to fuck something up. I mean, guys, no joke. I'm even this is where I'm at right now. Like, I'm being fully honest because it's fucking scary for me, but it's like I can't even do a post on Instagram. And I'm like, Tom, what the fuck is wrong with you? I'm even like, I just look at Instagram or look at my socials and I'm like, ugh, it's just bores the fuck out of me. And I'm like, but Tom, like that's your way of communicating with the masses. That's your way of upping the ante. That's how you get your coaching clients. That's how you fucking get everything. It's like, what are you doing? Like, get into it. And it's like, for me, I'm like, well, it doesn't matter what I post on Instagram. There's the next cock and balls that's doing exactly the same thing. And it just doesn't, it feels like, doesn't matter what I do, it's just not going to hit home. But that's the thing. It doesn't actually matter. It's not about hitting home. It's not about how many followers do I get. It's not about, oh my God, how many listens am I getting to the podcast. It's none of that. It's all fucking irrelevant. What is relevant is that all of us, and especially now, guys, all of us, we get into our hearts. We get courageous and we go, what is it that I actually want to experience this year? And I would almost say that for most of us or most of you that are listening to this podcast, you would probably sit back and you'll probably realize that the material stuff is going to become way less important this year than it will, than the other stuff, than the feely stuff, like the having an epic relationship, having, great hugs in your relationship, your family relationships, mum, dad, brothers, sisters, all this type of stuff. I mean, I just had, excuse me, I haven't done a burp yet. There's my burp for the potty. I usually do one every podcast, but it's those things that you believe are going to bring you happiness are probably not the things this year. And I actually went into, I remember, I can't remember which podcast, but I spoke about this last year, and I still have this, intuitively, I just have this feeling that the material stuff like money and all that type of stuff that comes along with money, it's going to become so fucking irrelevant in the next couple of years. It actually will become irrelevant. Like, I feel like, and I'm not being all fucking hokey pokey or uber spiritual, but this is an intuitive feeling that I have, and usually these feelings I have are usually on the fucking money, is that all these things that even this pandemic and the things that are yet to follow, this pandemic's not the end of it. it is. I reckon we're going to be up for another little bit of shit show this year. But that doesn't mean you have to have a shit year. It just means that you have to fucking pivot, man. Pivot. But it is. It's all this stuff that we put importance on, and we have put importance on as a society for the last 60, 70 years. Man, like they're not going to be the things that are important anymore. And that's what's going to happen over the next 2-3 years. I don't even think money it will be the main driver for the world in a few years' time. I don't know how, why, but that's just what I believe. And you know, I remember one of my mentors back in the day said this thing where it's better to live 30 years full of adventure than living 100 years safe. And I so agree with that. You know, I'm 45 this year. Actually, my bad. No, I am. I'm 45 this year. And you know, in 30 years, I'm going to be 75. Like, that's fucking cool. So I feel like even when I look at 75, it doesn't seem old. I reckon when you hit 90 and shit, you're like, yeah, that's fucking old. But I reckon 75 even, like, I'm going to be running, doing shit. I can see myself as a 75-year-old dude, like, just loving life, still at the beach, still fucking, you know, being me and you know, still probably got the podcast going on. But, you know, the next 30 years, I'd love to make the next 30 years an epic adventure. Like, how cool. But even if you, like, let's say that let's say you commit to making the next 30 years like a full adventure. Imagine if just one of those years you fuck it all up. Does it actually matter? Like, I just think we put so much importance on, oh my God, if I make the wrong choice and blah, 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 blah. That immediate thing where you're going to be like, oh my God, what if, you know, what if the immediate bad thing that happens, which could simply be something that's so whatever, you know, who knows, you might lose a few bucks or whatever, you know, whatever it might be. But it's so fucking irrelevant. And we spend so much time and effort. We spend so much time and effort on making decisions to make sure that we don't fuck up our immediate future. But who cares? Like, let's say next 30 years, I mean, you might be 30, you might be 35, you might be 25, you might be 40, you might be 50, who knows? It's irrelevant. Next 30 years, how old are you going to be in 30 years? And just imagine if the next 30 years of your life was just a full out fucking adventure where people were looking at your life, looking into your life. Not that it matters what other people think, but people were looking into your life going, man, like, that's one cool fucking human. Like, he or she is just doing it, you know, like that's the life I want. And so it's that thing. Better to live 30 years full of adventure than 100 years being safe as fuck. And you know what? It's not about the hours. And it's also, success is not so much even an outer world state. It's an inner world state. So you've got to find principles that for you that you where you start to know, you start to learn how to maintain what you deem to be success. And I deem success in my life as adventure, joy, happiness, and love. They're the type of things that make me feel fucking successful. I know if I'm having adventure in my life, which is, you know, doing shit where it's not comfortable, making decisions that aren't comfortable, you know, putting myself in situations where I have to grow. That to me excites me. Like, you know, even now, do you guys know when, I don't know if you do, but when you meet someone that's over 65 or 70, most of the people, even just when I walk chilly on the beach in the mornings and the afternoons, if I just even saying hi to an older dude or an older woman, they have so much wisdom, and there is so much wisdom in people that have, most people, other than the fucking sour old cunts. Oh, did I just say the C word? I did. the sour old farts that are fucking hating life. Like, I'm not talking about those guys. I'm talking about the guys that you just see them at the beach or wherever you're walking, and they look at you with their wise eyes, and you just see the wisdom in those eyes, and you're like, man, I aspire to be that old guy when I get there, to be able to see young bucks like us walking around and just looking at those guys or girls and going, yeah, I know where you're at. I know where you're at, and you're about to have a kick-ass adventure. So, if there's anything that I would love you to get out of this podcast and to get out of this 25 or 30 minutes that I've yapped on for, is that it's the time is now. And just think about it in terms of your timeline, in terms of life. It's and the fact that it's 2022 and it's the start of the year and all that, is it really relevant? No, it's just like every other day, every other week. Are you putting a lot of pressure on yourself for no reason? Maybe. And if you are, fucking stop it. And just use this time, whether it takes you a day, a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever, use this time to get clear on what it is that your heart wants to experience. And when you get clear, even just the generalistic stuff, like, for example, as I mentioned before, adventure. Okay, cool. So if you get maybe like, this year I want to experience adventure, I want to experience love, I want to experience joy, I want to experience happiness, and, I want to experience fucking, I don't know, whatever else, freedom, yeah? And then if you write those things down and then chunk it down, like, just ask yourself, what does adventure actually look like for me? And then chunk it down again. Well, what does that mean? And keep going like that. Have you ever done that thing where you write yourself a letter, your future self a letter? If you haven't, do that. Write your future self 10 years from now. Write your future self a letter of what you're going to get done. And the other way around too. You could also have your future self write a letter back to you now. That is a cool one, where you get your future, in 10 years, your ideal self writes a letter back to you now, and tells you what you need to know. That is very, very cool. So guys, stop doubting yourself. Just get to it. Get onto it. This is the time. There is no, there's just no time like the present. This is it. It's just get it the fuck done. And you know what? If you need help, get help. It's get a fucking life coach, get whatever. If you've got a person that you want to chat to, get it going on. What a great investment it is to get people to help you that actually know this stuff. I'd be more than happy to. And you know what? One of the reasons that I love working with my clients is that I don't hide the fact that I go through similar stuff. I just have tools that I've learned over the years on how to get myself through it, but also how to help others. For me, it's so much easier helping other people than it is myself. And that's I reckon most coaches and life guiding people or whatever, they would have the same thing. But all my clients, I never ever hide any of my struggles. I always put them straight up the forefront, because I don't want to pretend I'm some fucking hero that's totally got my shit together, because I don't. One thing I do have together is that I'm prepared to take risks, and that I genuinely get off on helping other people. And I've achieved a lot in my life, which has come from taking listening to my intuitive guidance, like really listening, and that is something that is, I'm so good at that. And I'm sure there's a lot of people that are good at shit, but I don't know many that are as good as me at teaching people around how to listen to your intuition, how to discover what your heart wants from you. And yeah, that is definitely a gift of mine. So you know what, if you want to have a chat to me, more than happy to do so. Just hit me up. I've got clients all around the world and I'd be more than happy to help you through and guide you through. But other than that, I mean, guys, if you've got someone that you know, get help if you need it. It's time for all of us, and don't be scared about the future. You know what? Even if the world ends, let's go down fucking laughing our asses off. Let's go down crashing hard. May as well, because it is it's just, we're all there. We're a big family, we're a big unit, and the people that are out there whinging and carrying on and using all this shit that's going on around the world as an excuse not to do shit, just, it's cool. Just observe them, have empathy, but just choose to be of service to yourself and choose to be of service to your heart and to your life. And that's where we're going. So I'm really excited about this year, guys, and growing this community this year. And thank you so much for listening. And I shall see you next Monday, just like every other Monday for the rest of the year. Woohoo! And apologies for not saying that I was going to take time off or whatever, but you know what? Is what it is. We're back now. So thank you, guys. From my heart to yours, please use this time effectively. I fucking love you guts, and have yourself an epic Monday. If it's a Monday you're listening, if it's Tuesday or Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, whatever day you're listening, I fucking love you guts, and thank you for being part of this community and listening to my voice. Love you guys.